Welcome in, everybody. I'm LuvLockDwn, friendly neighborhood bean. We play Apex usually 7 days a week on Twitch. We also do a lot of other things. And today I'm joined with a very special guest for my first ever podcast. Um, with this is for SETEX Grips, my new partnership. Here with me is the VP, Mr. Paul Glass. I'll let him introduce himself. We're going to be doing this podcast for about an hour, and then you guys can watch this back here on Twitch, or you guys might catch some clips elsewhere on other social medias to follow up with this. But Mr. Glass, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice to talk to you today. My name is Paul Glass. I'm the VP of Engineering at SETEX Technologies, and we're the inventors of the SETEX Grip products that Seb's been talking about so passionately for the last couple of weeks. So it's great to be chatting here with you today.
Yes, most definitely. And it's been a great product to have. I've been using it even to this moment. I have it on my mouse. So, I have it set up for me on everything. I've been trying my best to be the poster boy of this as much as I can be. We have some good reviews so far. Some of the viewers have picked some up, and there's some anticipating to pick some up very shortly. So, as we keep going along, we just had our Clip It Friday segment where the community submits their clips for a prize, and um, me and Carson had spoke about the grips being a part of that now. So a lot of the chat is very excited to see that come through because we've never had a partner or sponsor be so willing to give product like you guys have been. So we're excited to see that become implemented. Be a part of the sponsored streams because it just incentivizes people more, I guess, to be a part of the community and as well be interested in the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's we're new. We're the new kids on the block, so we're excited to kind of get this in the hands of people like you and your audience and have you guys go spread the word. We're excited about what we're doing and so we want to get our product out to as many people as possible and go from there. This is brand new from December of 2021, what we're doing in
Oh
the gaming
wow.
sector.
Yeah.
So, you guys are kind of the first the first partners that we've worked with and so we're really excited about and everything you're doing and excited about the feedback we're getting on the product also.
Awesome. And I guess that'll lead me to my first question that I was looking forward to asking. What inspired you guys to move into gaming? Because I know you guys were primarily, focused on other things, but what was the main push that said now's the time for gaming?
Yeah, so we've been working with the technology, so these gecko inspired materials. Like honestly, I've been looking at gecko feet for 15 years. So
Wow.
when I was studying this at school, we were looking at like climbing robots, and I was looking at surgical robots, and all these different applications where you need to stick or grip things in different ways. And when we started the company about 10 years ago,
Uh,
one of the first things we looked at was skin grip, and we were looking at like gripping for medical devices or protective PPE masks.
mm,
This is way before COVID, but how to get a mask to fit better so you don't have any leaks. And so kind of gripping to skin was always something that we were trying to improve upon. Kind of our first serious look commercially was eyewear.
mm,
So how you have got glasses, you get sweaty in the summer, you're being active, or just your face might not be shaped the same way that the eyewear designer intended their glasses to fit. So we've started looking at how we can incorporate skin gripping structures into to glasses nose pads, and we had a lot of
mm,
success with that. So we figured out how to make it enough of it, make it at scale, and make it cheap enough that we could sell that as a consumer product. So
mm,
from that success, it was kind of like, okay, what else do people interact with every day that you could use a little bit more grip?
mm,
Gaming was kind of at the top of that list for the next generation of products. We got some gamers in the office, and they'd used some things that they bought on Amazon, and
mm.
there was some other stuff out there that
Some big
provided some
competitors in a
grip.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, but we could get that stuff, and we could look at our side by side, and we could just see
Yep.
like
There's a
ours
major
just works.
difference.
Yeah, ours just works way better. So why not
Hmm.
get this out there? So we did, it's a pretty significant amount of product design, get the shape right, get the adhesives right, and then, try to spend some time, learning about the gaming e-commerce community because we,
Right.
have some gamers in the on the team, but we never sold into this market before, so we're
Yeah.
kind of taking our first step there. So yeah, we're excited about what we're doing.
Yeah, because gaming definitely has a lot of different products that kind of, rebound off each other and, or even are very similar. And that's the thing that when I was approached by, Carson for this opportunity was I noticed that these looked completely different. And I've always been somebody of a more flashy stature, if that wasn't pretty apparent. And, those kind of things, stood out to me because I was like, they just look different. Um, I'm always the kind of guy to try and break the trend and start a new one if that's the case. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a chance. And then, after I don't know how long it's been, about a month or so, maybe a month and a half of actually having them in hand, it's just been, it's become so, I don't know, almost natural to be used. I just forget that they're even there, but then I remember they're there and I'm like, man, it feels so different now. Like I don't wipe my palms half as much. I'm not, like, oh, where's a napkin? I need to like, damp off a little bit. It feels great because I feel like it helps with the continuity of what I do, because I don't have to stop as much. I can just, hold on. And I make jokes about it all the time. Like, oh, my controller's gonna fall, but not with SETEX, So,
Okay.
it's been becoming a really fun and interactive thing for the chat to kind of be a part of. Every time I mention you guys now, it's my mods are so quick to clip it because they're like, you guys have shown love. I gotta, do my part as well. And yeah, it's been a good thing for us. Yeah, but
Yeah.
did you have
That's
anything?
great. That's great to hear because that's what we're doing it for, right? Is to just improve what you're doing, and whether it's people doing it, as much as you are, or just your casual, weekend gamer.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to give a better product out there for what you're doing.
Yeah, because I was using another product that's pretty similar, and they've been around for a couple years. And after I started using you guys, I haven't looked back. I'm excited to see what other products might come up from Setex. There's a lot that I've heard is in the works, so I'm just excited to see those products come out and be able to completely eliminate those other ones that I was using and completely become the full Setex poster boy because that's just gonna be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you for another question just in case.
Yeah, no, I think I could break some news with you here that next week we're going live with a thumbstick grip. So
Exactly.
right,
Yes.
yeah. So we'll have a couple products coming out over the spring and summer, but the first one, which is just a cover, is going to be
Mm,
next week. So actually, check your mail. I think on Wednesday, you'll be getting some of the first ones.
that's
You and
awesome.
Carson are getting some of the first, finished package product, and then they'll be going up on our website and on Amazon in the next, probably by Friday of next week. So
Amazing.
yeah, we'll that's one we're really excited about. Again, we grip better than anything else that's out there. And so it's all coming. So we'll look to have a kind of a whole suite of gaming products.
Awesome. I know since I'm always, streaming and all that, I kind of have to have like a daily routine to be able to, manage my regular 9 to 5 job and then get on here.
Hmm.
I kind of, wake up, just go straight to work. I give myself an hour or two beforehand to just kind of do whatever I need to do. I'm not the most errand busy guy, but I'm very work busy kind of guy. So,
Okay.
most of my days, I work from 2 to 10 p.m. and then at 11 I start straight up on my stream, go for about 4 hours, and I'm on this chair here for 12, maybe 18, 20 hours a day, whether that's editing or whatnot. But for you, I know you're an engineer, so what's your daily routine like?
Yeah. So man, every day is different. But that's one of the great things about working at a small company like SETEX. We're
Mm,
still 17 people and we all wear a lot of hats. So Yeah, I'm up pretty early. I have two young kids, so first
Mm,
things first, we gotta get them, fed and clothed and get them to school on time.
mm,
And then during the pandemic, I was working a lot from home. Now back more in the office a lot more.
mm,
We've got a awesome engineering team. So I manage the engineering team, which is a product development side and
mm.
then an R&D side. So on the
Okay.
product development team, we've got some engineers who are coming up with the next generation of products. I mentioned those thumbsticks, and we've got a long list of products that are in development. Some are pretty close to launch, and some are kind of moonshots that might be little further out.
Right.
Um, and then on the R&D side, we've got a whole other side of the business that might be developing, new grippers for semiconductor wafer handling
Mm,
or surgical adhesives for medical applications. So
mm.
we've got the kind of two sides of the business on the engineering side, but then we work very closely with our whole operations team. So we're doing everything here made in the USA. So we make and package and ship everything from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where
Oh,
we're
cool.
located. So whenever we're launching something new, we're interacting a lot with the operations team, making sure we've got everything specced out appropriately. So I'm probably 9 to 5 guy in the office, and then back home, try to have some fun with the family. Love to cook, so I'm cooking
Gotcha.
cooking dinner, and then at least one day a week, I'm probably getting on the phone with partners in Asia, where we have actually we're making everything here in the U.S., but we're actually going the opposite way of everyone else. We're shipping our finished product to Japan and to South Korea, and we're selling it on e-commerce platforms, in Asia now as well. So I'll
Oh,
tend to talk to our Asian partners about once a week, and see how sales are doing, let them know about the new products we're launching, and then that'd probably be the end of a good day there.
gotcha.
But now I'm also, got to keep up with the social media and what's
Mm.
going on, with our accounts, and we've got a social media team that we're working with as well. So I know you've talked to those people quite a bit over the last little while. So you've gotten to know some people on our team. So
Most definitely.
yeah, it's a lot of angles
You
that
cover.
this covers. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do to decompress?
Let's see. Today I was in the garden here. So last week in Pittsburgh we had a snowstorm, and
Oh.
this week it's sunny. So we were, getting out there, cleaning up the old leaves from the fall, and
Mm,
yeah, I play a little ice hockey and run around with the kids. Like I said, cooking in the evenings is
mm.
something that helps unwind,
Do you
I'd
game?
say. I have to say, the honestly, no, I don't.
Uh,
But
minus
we've
five
got a
points.
Switch. What's that?
I said minus 5 points.
Yeah, -5 points. I've gotten into so we've got a Switch now. We got one for my son
Oh,
for
great.
his birthday last year, and so we do some Mario Kart.
A lot of fun.
We do we do some Super Mario Brothers. He's got Zelda Civil. He's got Civilization 6. I'm old enough that I remember when Civilization 1 came out.
Oh man,
So
yeah.
we do a little of that together, and I kind of like, when I was a kid, we didn't have all these features and everything. So, but yeah, we do a little bit there. But my gaming pinnacle was probably when I was a teenager back in high school.
Not bad though. At least you have a lot going on anyway. So gaming can take a lot of time. People don't realize that just sitting here for an hour or two can be used a lot different ways. And and I'm just grateful to have that time to do this kind of thing because I've had gaming in my life since as long as I can remember, at least. And I started off on the Xbox, the original Xbox that they came out with in like 2004 or whatever.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I started off on there. I played Halo 3 with one of my closest friends at the time. And after that, I begged my parents for the Xbox, and they got me that one and PlayStation 2. But then I grew more fond of the PlayStation 2. So I started playing games like Jack and Daxter, um, Crash Bandicoot, and things like that. Like it was. I think like that's when my gaming passion really started, because YouTube wasn't really around like that back then, and I feel like a lot
Right.
of the people nowadays are more, oh, I'm into gaming because I watched gaming videos, or when I was younger, this YouTuber or whatever the case might be was, playing this game, and I always wanted to do it too, and I feel like ever since I was younger, I did kind of have a dream of doing this. I was around like the age of 10, I think, when streaming and all that kind of stuff was blowing up and becoming more relevant. Um, 26 now, so it's crazy to think 16 years later that I'm actually doing it. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things that's like it all comes full circle, I feel like. And it's like, like for you, for example, you've been doing this for, you know, 10 years too, trying to get your product going and completely where it's at, and now you're branching out, and I feel like this, even a podcast for me, is branching out, you know what I mean? So it's just like there's a lot going on that's just making it so much more exciting to kind of, venture out. So I guess that leads into my next question. What's, in your opinion, I guess, if there's any thing that you had in mind already, what was the next venture for Setex that you could think of?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. So one thing we're really trying to do, that's harder than what we're doing today, is make rolls of tape of, the same kind of material
Mm,
you've got on the controller grip, but to do it in big enough and at a price that makes sense for people to buy. So you could go out and wrap your tennis racket, wrap your baseball bat, wrap
mm,
your bike handlebars, and so that's something we're working on. There's again a lot of competition out there, but we
mm,
know the technology that's in our grip, it's just going to feel a lot better than what other people are doing. So that's a big one on the consumer side. Something, it might not be a SETEX product on the shelf, but we work with other partners that might incorporate our tech into their
right.
products. This is kind of the holy grail if we can accomplish it, but something that sticks to skin a lot better than the tapes that are out there, like a Band-Aid replacement, right? So
Mm,
because our technology is inspired by the Gecko, which is a totally dry system. It doesn't feel, tacky and sticky the way,
right.
a Band-Aid does. We think if we get it just right, we might be able to make a material that is a lot more comfortable than a Band-Aid. And then that could go in a lot of different directions from a medical product as well as a consumer product side. So that's further down on the horizon. But
Yeah.
that's something that we keep in our sights all the time.
That's good ambition there, though. That's great. You guys aren't just trying to put one product out and leave it be. You guys are clearly trying to make huge moves. So that's awesome to hear. Um, Next question, I guess, would be what inspired you to be an engineer? Because clearly you have a very big, brain on you to want to keep making all these, moves. So what was it for you?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've always loved building and creating things. So when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, I was like, in Lego all the
Mm,
time. And actually, I think about like my gaming history, and it was always the building games that attracted me the most, like
mm.
Civilization. When I was a kid, there was like Sim City. Um,
Yes. Uh-huh.
I remember a PC game called Stunts, which I don't know if anyone in your audience would remember, or if that's had any sort of resonance nowadays. But it was like you made your own racetrack, and then you could race, and you could like get your friends, and you could race each other on it. This was before we were doing networks. So you kind of go to your friend's house and you'd make a track for your friend, and your friend would do it.
Yeah.
And I always loved making the tracks, as much as playing on it. So you'd
Yeah.
like go over jumps and like do loops and all that kind of stuff. So I think I was always like a builder, a creator at heart. And so I think, when I was kind of going through school and thinking, okay, high school's coming to an end. What am I actually, well, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thought about architecture and engineering because those were both like, pretty creative professions, but one where I always loved, kind of math and science too. So kind of combine
Mm-hmm.
those. And then when I was looking at architecture school, I realized I needed a portfolio. Nobody told me that, and I didn't have a portfolio. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to engineering school, and yeah, just had a good experience there. It was pretty challenging, but took some classes that inspired me, and I kind of got connected. Actually, I never really thought about startup. I grew up in Canada. I was in school in the early 2000s, and there wasn't, I wouldn't say there was a big startup culture there,
Yeah.
and certainly the way there's a pretty deep startup culture now.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of places. But some alumni that graduated a couple years before me that I knew actually did start a startup, and this was like a DVD vending machine. You got them now. Like there's a red box
Yeah.
that you might see at the grocery store. This was a couple years before Redbox. They were trying to do this up in Canada, and
Wow.
so I did a summer job with them, and it was like just this kind of really small, like four people were in like this rented loft, and just trying to figure out how to build one, and how to make it work, and they were
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out how to build a company. And so that just kind of all the kind of passion and excitement, and I think that kind of
It's a driving
idea,
force
you're
almost.
yeah, you're creating the product and the technology, but you're also kind of building this whole organization and the company around it too.
Mm-hmm.
So all that excited me. So when I kind of ended up moving to Pittsburgh and going to grad school here, as that was finishing, and I'd kind of worked on this Gecko adhesive tech in grad school, the
Mm-hmm.
thought of, okay, let's see if we can make this work as a company, and how we can get this tech that we developed in a university, which is totally different. You're like making a square inch, and it's costing you $5,000, and then you're writing
Wow.
a research paper, and you hope that you can you know get it out to the world and people might read it. That's all you're hoping for. Well, okay, that's kind of cool, but what if people actually could use it,
Yeah.
and do something useful? So yeah, it's a kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, in all, I think just that idea of building something, building technology, and now
And then
kind of
changing the world. Yeah.
building a company. And yeah, I mean, changing the world would be great if we can accomplish that. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, you don't realize that something as small as this sometimes could make such a huge impact, you know? I mean, as simple as you said it, your grips are going to be on everything at some point. So, that's going to become quite the time to be alive when SETEX becomes a household name, you know?
Yeah,
So,
well, thank you. That's certainly the goal. We hope to get there, and definitely when we put it out there, and when we read the reviews, and people say, oh, my son, my toddler got glasses and he hated them, but then he put some nose pads on, and now
mhm,
he loves them, and that's the kind of stuff. And
rewarding.
gamers like yourself, you can do what you do a little bit better and more smoothly. I mean, those are the things that definitely is very very rewarding that we get to be a part of this.
Where did the name SETEX come from, though?
Yeah, so the gecko lizard has all these little hairs on their toes that let them
Uh-huh.
climb up walls and stick to ceilings, and they're called setae. So when we
Oh,
were trying to think of a name, we were, you know, thinking like gecko tech, gecko stick, nano stick, but there's a lot of other, products out there. There's the Geico lizard, right? So
yeah.
everyone knows the Geico gecko. So we ended up kind of coming back to that. And we had a whiteboard with like 1,000 names on it. But that idea of like SETEX, kind of inventing our own word, and building a brand around that, but it kind of comes back to the core technology and the gecko inspiration.
Really
So
clever.
that's what stuck. Yeah, we kind of thought, like Velcro, Kevlar, there's other new materials out there where companies have built a brand around like a strong word, and so
Hmm.
that was our goal. And
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue really well. I remember when I was approached about it, I was like SETEX. I was like, that sounds cool. Like I'm always a fan of a company that has a name that can stick, and that's no pun intended. It's just it's clever, and unless if you really know the story, you'll probably always wonder why the name is that. But I hope that kind of opens up to the community, because some people were always like in my chat like, what does that mean? I was like, honestly, I don't know. I was like, it just the name of the company. But now that I know, I can be like,
Now you know. Now
you
you
know,
know.
geckos have these hairs. You know,
Yeah,
like that's
I think
so mind blowing to me.
we probably need to do a better job of telling that story. And so on the package product, we have a little
The little gecko
gecko
guy.
that's on
Yeah.
there, and on the back, there's the story. But I know people get something new, you want to open it and try it out. You might not
Hmm.
spend time reading. Yeah,
I read the pamphlet thing,
yeah.
but there was something stuck on it, like the little one of the grips came off the 3M, so it covered the label,
Okay.
and then the next one I got just had pictures on it and like a little like a small description of like how to apply it, and I was like, uh oh, so I was like, well, here's it, and yeah. When I did the product review, I just kind of just put them on. I was like, most of the time people don't want to hear me talk about the ins and outs, so I just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
let it be simple. I let the product speak for itself, and then here we are. Um,
yeah.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, did you have any questions for me? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, so you sound like a incredibly busy guy too, right? You're working a day job, then you're streaming every night. So, are you thinking of trying to, transition to full time on the streaming, or what'll it take to make that leap?
That's so crazy you say that because I've been having that premonition for months now. Um,
Okay.
it's one of those things I think that as a creator, and I feel like I speak for many, that that's always the end goal. When you start this and you start taking it as seriously as I am, your eyes open up to situations like this, and it's just kind of like, wow, there is bigger things out there for me, and those bigger moves are what's going to make me full time. And it's one of those things where people don't realize that as much as your view count might be the driving force of your stream, that it comes down to how much time you actually have for it. Because like you said, I work a full-time job. There's times where I get off work and I'm like, not gonna lie, a little bit miserable, and I'm like, I'd rather just go to sleep. I've had a rough day, but I'm like, no, there's people that count on me. People look forward to these streams. I got to be there for them. I sacrifice sometimes my own well-being just to get on the stream. But then as I'm streaming, my mood gets lifted. Everyone's so happy to be there, so it makes me happy. You know what I mean? It kind of just
Yeah.
brings me, to another level. But I feel like when it comes down to fully getting into full time, it's gonna take. I feel like with the success that I've had recently, to at least continue for another 6 months because I need to feel stability. I'm never one of those people to make a quick and rash decision because I always think of the worst outcome first. Because,
Yeah.
I'm always like, well, what could go wrong rather than I could do it right now, because I'm not going to lie to you. There was a point, let me look at this real quick. June of last year, and that poster right there. I was doing really well. It was it's what's what we call on Twitch a subathon. So people will come in. There's an incentivized list, and you get to choose, how much you want to give as far as the subscriptions on the channel. Uh, you know, and we got up to 523 on that stream. So it was one of those moments for me where I was like, wow, this is the most I've ever made on Twitch. And then I thought to myself, is now the time? But as time came closer, as time came closer, it clearly really wasn't the time because nowadays it did slow down. Things are kind of more, I guess you could say, muted because
Hmm.
you know COVID's lifting, people aren't as home as much, so I don't get nearly as many people coming in as I used to back then because that was the peak of COVID.
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like until I can see the stability for up to 6 months, I wouldn't be able to go full time. And that's my biggest, I guess you could say, patience tester because it's just a matter of time, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my point of view on
Okay.
it, really.
Yeah, yeah. So I see a lot of parallels in what we're trying to do, building a consumer brand from nothing really. And you're trying to you're trying to build an audience, right? Like before you were streaming, nobody online knew who you were, but now you've got this following, you get online every day,
Even my
and you've got
coworkers
people there.
see my TikToks. Like I went into a work meeting yesterday and my supervisor said, "Hey, I saw your TikTok." And then somebody else was like, "Oh yeah, so then it was you I saw." And I'm like, "Whoa, this is weird, but
Yeah.
this is kind of like what I asked for, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
I still haven't actually no, I get like neighbors who say, yeah, I saw, see my Twitter or my Instagram, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I tried your product. And that's a great feeling. So it's like, yeah, there's people out there in your day-to-day life that are seeing what you do.
Hmm.
So for you building the audience, I think obviously from what I'm hearing, like just being there, being reliable, that's probably a huge thing, right? Because if people want that, that interaction, you're there for them.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give? Like, what's the thing for you that worked the most as you're trying to grow your followers and grow your audience? What could I learn from you?
Honestly, I feel like I am as transparent as I can be. And by doing so, I am as myself as I can be. Um, I mean that because even now, I mean, I've always been the class clown, I guess you could say. And when work needs to be done, trust me, I'm the hardest worker in the room. So it's I have very parallel, personalities sometimes. But my best advice, I guess, if I was myself talking to a new person, don't be afraid to try new things out. Failure is the best way to learn. And until something doesn't work, don't fix it. Until you fail, you know, keep on trying. Like, stop if you do fail, assess what you did, and try to make it better. Because I was even looking back at streams of mine. This background is only the last year and a half. My background used to have two posters and a blank wall, and there was no personality to it. And everyone knows me as a loudmouth, so I was like, well, let's put the personality on the wall. This is everything that I care about, everything that I'm into, everything that I could talk for hours about. And they're good conversation topics sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
it's one of those things for me that I feel like a lot of people on Twitch don't understand is you got to be real to get people to really like you. You can't put on a facade and just expect people to want to be your biggest fan. I might dance around in a mask for money sometimes, but it doesn't diminish my character whatsoever. I've had moments where I've cried on stream because I just had the worst day ever, and then everyone on stream saying such nice things about me, or giving me however much money they feel like they want to give me, or however many viewers are pulling up on me. So yeah, that's really it. It's just persevere, improve, and don't give up, because that's the biggest factors of being successful on anything really. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's you know uh, that rings true. I think when we first set up a Instagram account for our brand, this was when we just had the nose pad product out.
Yeah.
We were paying a third party to do it, and no disrespect to them, they were our vendor, and they put some content out, but it was kind of some stock photography and kind of some boilerplate stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got this passionate team of engineers. We show up every day. We're doing really cool stuff, and none of that was kind of coming through. And there was no audience wants to read some stock copy and stock photography. So
Yeah.
we took all that in house. We just for a while we had the engineers doing 100% of our social media because we're the ones who are the most passionate about the product, and starting to do the outreach. And now we're working with some people who kind of help augment it and help us build relationships and find people like yourself and Carson. And we've got some eye doctors and some other people who are out there talking about some of our other products. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just like you said, trying to be as authentic and honest as possible, but personal. Like
Exactly.
have some personality there. If sometimes one of our engineers might, you know, do a dance. We joke that going to a trade show, we're going to get our VP of operations to wear a big gecko suit and go around handing out samples. I don't know if we've talked him into that yet, but
If he decides
that's
not to do it, call me. I'll do a Dougie on stage.
okay. Yeah, you're in California, right?
I'm in California. Yep.
Okay. Well, if we're on the West Coast, we will definitely
That'd be
We'll
awesome.
definitely come out and hook up there.
Yeah. I was gonna ask since you mentioned Legos. I have quite. I think. Let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six, and then I have two behind me, so eight.
Okay.
And I love building Legos. Like all my life, I've had Legos. I had
Yeah.
Bionicles. I had Legos. I had Mega Constructs, all the Lego type of brands you can think of. Even the miniature Japanese ones, I have like two of them right here, like right here. But they're like very micro ones. What's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
Lego you've ever built?
Oh man. So I mean, there's so many amazing things about having kids, but one of the greatest things is that all my childhood fun gets to happen all over again. So
Yeah,
I don't, when I was a kid, it was more like we just had a big bin in my closet and you'd kind of pull it out. And I remember a couple times
yep.
like getting a spaceship or something, but it was before they had all the kind of brand tie-ins. So I think I had this awesome like spaceship that had a cockpit with the had a transparent blue cockpit and it went down on the little minifig that had like the
Oh wow.
planet, the planet guy. But then not having kids, I could actually dig that out of my parents' basement, bring it to
Yep.
my house now. But of course, now there's like the Star Wars tie-ins and the Harry Potter tie-ins.
So
So
many.
there's a lot of cool stuff, and my kids are into all that. So we did the Razor Crest with
Oh,
like the
that's
pretty
cool.
big one with both my kids last year, and one is 5 and one is 10, and the 5-year-old can keep up with all that stuff. So they're like a little bit of tension on who gets to like build the minifigs and who gets to
Yeah.
do what part, but we work it out. So that was a really fun one, and I love the creator like 3-in-1s that they have now. So
Oh yeah. You can choose
like
whichever build you want. That's so cool. Yeah.
exactly. So my son just did the one that's like a tiger and take that apart and do like a like a red panda or something. So
Mm-hmm.
that's I mean it's so far beyond what I had as a kid. But
Yeah.
it's still the same. It's still the same Lego where like the bin I had in my closet is part of their toolbox and those pieces still fit and
Yeah.
so it's unlimited fun. So yeah, I mean, you can probably tell from me talking like that. I,
It's a passion.
I still a passion. Yeah, still building stuff. I still feel like a kid again, doing all that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I always tell people is like, do things for the kid in you. Because as a kid, everyone always has these huge aspirations. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a singer. And then as you get older, sometimes those passions might fade, but there's always that little piece inside of you that's like, I always wanted to do it. You know,
Yeah,
and I feel like I've done a lot in my life, even though I've never really traveled. I feel like my life experiences have made up for that. Like I've done a lot. I've been just about anything you could think of. I've played sports. Like when you mentioned making tennis grips and things, I played tennis all throughout high school. I went to several different tournaments. I was pretty high ranked. I did my thing there, and then that passion faded, and then I became an artist. I started doing drawing and sculpture work and things like that. Uh, and then that faded, and then I became a personal trainer. I started getting into fitness. I got really muscular. I got really fit, and then that faded. And then now I'm a gamer, and it's just those things where I'm like, every single thing that I've done was because as a kid I wanted to do those things. As a kid I wanted to be that star athlete. As a kid I wanted to be a gamer. As a kid I wanted to be buff and tall and macho man. And it's just those things that I'm like, when you have those small pieces that bring you back to those moments when you're like, wow, I used to do this as a kid. It's like those are the most like fulfilling moments I feel like for myself. So it's just one of those things that I'm like, going back to just staying true to yourself. I just feel like that's like really cool to hear because clearly it's made an impact on the way that your profession has gone as well. Just from putting blocks together to now putting a company together.
yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of parallels for sure.
Yeah,
So yeah, and
so cool to hear.
working with your hands, you want to you know invent something new. You got to get in the lab, and now we've got a lot of people on our team that are kind of doing that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
how
travel a
how
lot?
long? Do I travel a lot? Pre-COVID, yeah, quite a bit.
Hmm.
It's just starting back up a little bit. So we're going to a Vision Expo in New York City in a couple weeks.
Oh
That'll be
wow.
our kind of our first my first trade show since pre-COVID, and hoping we'll get to CES, next year out in Vegas.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, for some of our industrial partnerships, I've been lucky enough to get to go to Asia a couple times, Taiwan, Japan,
Oh, that's cool.
for business. So I think if things open up again, we'll probably be back out there soon. And we've got some partners in Europe as well. So yeah, hopefully as the dust settles on these last crazy years, we'll
Yeah,
get a chance to get out there, and next time I'm in California, I'll have to look you up and get together.
most definitely. I'm sorry to cut you off before. What were you gonna ask?
I don't even remember. No,
That's okay.
no problem. Yeah.
Did you have any questions you wanted to ask? Anything else you might want to
No,
know?
I mean, it's been great to get to know you and hear what you're doing, and
Likewise.
happy to chat about what we're up to. So I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, and this is some of your downtime. So I appreciate you spending it, chatting with us.
Yeah, I mean it's the least I could do. I mean I felt like it's a good opportunity because again, like I didn't know a lot about what you told me until you just told me. So it's a great learning experience because I feel more welcome, I guess you could say. I definitely feel like this is gonna be a good partnership, and yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me. One question I did have, and a lot of my chat likes to talk about this as well. I clearly have a pretty well made beard. What's how long have you been growing your beard? Like, do you shave it often? Do you get rid of it? Like,
Oh wow, your chat's talking about my beard?
yes.
Oh
Well, like,
wow, okay. I had no idea. I've got to get on your stream then tonight. I guess I missed last night's. Um, so yeah, in grad school, I used to not have a beard, and then 15 years ago, probably like a lot of sleepless nights in the
mm,
lab, I just let it go.
yeah.
Um, and then I met my wife to be at the time,
Mm,
and she was like, "Wow, nice beard." And then,
it stuck.
I'd say probably shaved it a couple times early on in our marriage, and every time she was like, no,
That's what
that's
my
not working
girlfriend
for
tells
you.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like, you ever
that's
shave
not
your
that's
beard?
not
We're not
working for
together.
you. Get it back. And so I think it's probably been 10 years that since I've had it, and it's funny. I used to with our well, my first CEO, so I'd never been leading the company as a CEO.
Oh,
I was showing up for like a big meeting, and I felt guilty. Like my hair was like up to here and my beard was down to there. And I
mm,
was like stressed out because I was worrying about some technical problem. And, he was probably pretty buttoned down and looking a lot more professional than me. And I was apologizing, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to, go to the barber before this. And I feel like they're not going to think much of us. And he was like, no, you're the mad scientist here. You've got the credibility. You look like a crazy genius. So just don't even worry about it. Just, you talk about the technology, I'll talk about the business. It'll
yep,
it'll all work out. So I was like, okay, well, that takes the pressure off me. I
yep.
can just I'll just worry about, doing what I do, and yeah, my wife doesn't mind. And so yeah, I think there's a video on TikTok where it was like a couple months ago, and it was higher this way and lower that way. So now I'm somewhere in between now. But
Because Carson sent me a couple things to kind of get familiar with who you were first, and
okay,
a couple of people from my chat hang out with me here in the Discord after
okay.
streams and things like that. So like, he has a better beard than you. I'm like, you're right, he does. And then I was like, man, it's crazy to think that like my chat's over here judging me over a beard.
Well, it's crazy for me to think that that's something that's being discussed. So
Yeah, it's just
um,
we like to poke fun at each other. So it's like if they can take a jab and say somebody's better than me in something, they'll be like they'll take the chance.
yeah, well, it's fun. It sounds like a fun community, and it's fun that those relationships start online, and they become sometimes they become real.
Yeah,
In IRL, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, and that's the crazy part is actually I'm hoping to meet some good online friends tomorrow. It's one of my moderator's birthdays, and she's a local of ours, so
Okay.
we're going to her birthday party, and we're trying to see if everyone can come and come to the party with us. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, it's crazy to think that all that kind of stuff comes full circle because you talk to these people day in day out sometimes, and you'll never think you'll meet them. you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be cool
Yeah.
to actually physically interact.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
great, especially those last couple of years where that in-person interaction was to a minimum.
hmm Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, other than that, for the next couple weeks, I should be planning on a another one of those subathons there. So I'm hoping to have SETEX be a part of that. Might be speaking with Nara about that as well. I know Carson mentioned that you guys were pretty excited to be involved. So um, we'll definitely be talking soon. I hope about that because, like I said, my community seems to be open arms to this, and grips are huge, and it's good time for you guys to be in it because gaming is just really taking off again, and I feel like if you guys keep getting creators more like myself as well, you'll have nothing but success because you got to surround yourself with the like-mindedness, you know, and the willingness to achieve, because especially on any platform with social media nowadays, there's a lot that sets people apart, and when it comes down to it, only putting your best foot forward can do so much. You got to have connections. So I'm really really excited to see where you guys go.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, any way we can continue to work together and support what you're doing, and you support what we're doing. Yeah, let us know how we can be a part of it, and of course we'll be there. That'll be awesome.
Most definitely. Well, I mean, I guess we'll wrap it up there. I don't really have much
Yeah.
else to talk about, but did you have any final words?
No, I mean, thank you for your time, and for anyone listening, definitely love if they check out what we're doing at SETEX Grip
Mm-hmm.
online, on our channel, setexgrip.com. We've got our gaming products up there, and yeah, like I said, we'll have some thumbsticks come in this week.
Yeah,
So
so we'll be reviewing this on stream more than likely. I'll watch the whole interview back.
okay.
For those of you watching this, and I'm speaking about it as if it's in the future, don't be surprised. We're in the now. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the reaction is to this. Um, I thank you for your time, and yeah, I'm hoping to maybe have another one of these sometime in the future so we can talk back and see how much we talked about and has came into fruition because that's gonna be quite the talk if it does.
Yeah, it sounds good. We can check back in a year and see where we get.
Exactly.
Both of
Well,
us, both of us. Maybe you'll be doing it full time by then.
hey, can only hope and pray.
All right. Well, very nice to meet you. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, Paul. And for anybody
All
watching,
right.
thank you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.